What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Before we get started, I got a quick question for you. Do you like to go fast? Do you not really care about warranties? Then you really need to check out minibikeapparel.com. Get you a sweet t-shirt like this one right here. Josh over at Mini Bike Apparel has plenty of awesome t-shirts. Make sure you use the link in the description below to order your own. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be messing around again with the EGL A16. For the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to put out a review for this bike, but I've had some electrical gremlins that I've been battling, one of which is the headlight. So today, we're going to be wiring in a brand new setup specifically for the headlight. So that being said, let's get after it. Okay, so now I got all the body panels off to expose the battery and the wiring harness. You really don't have to strip it down this far, but I did specifically to make it easy to route my wiring all the way up to the handlebars. I'm going to be installing a switch here to power on the headlight, and we're going to run the wiring just straight down the neck tube, straight to the battery. I went ahead and picked up some 16 gauge, just regular automotive wire. You can get it pretty much anywhere, Walmart, O'Reilly's, Advance, whatever. What I'm going to be doing is running the hot first, but I'm not going to have anything wired to the battery. I am, however, going to go ahead and make room for the inline fuse, which is going to be a blade style much like this one. I went ahead and swapped out the old glass tube style that they used to have in this. I've got several of these, so I'm going to use another one for the headlight circuit. Starting from up here, I'll add the fuse in somewhere around here, run it up. So here we go. I haven't made any connections to the battery yet, and I do this on purpose to prevent any arcing while I'm installing this circuit. The whole point of running these wires is to get a general idea of where you want it to go so that you can make it look as clean as possible while still making all your connections. Depending on your setup, this could actually take a while. Me personally, I ran mine as close to the existing wiring harness as possible. That way it's tucked out of the way, it looks clean, and there's no risk of it getting snagged on anything. Y'all don't be afraid to use zip ties. It keeps everything out of the way, it keeps everything bundled up nice and neat, and how else are you going to get zip tie certified? Now that I've got the live and ground run from the battery, got it run up here about to where I want it. I've got the switch already installed on the handlebar. The little pigtail coming off of this light, this is not a live and a ground. One side goes to your battery live. The other side goes to the live coming to your headlight. So that way you can open or close that circuit with this switch. So what I'm going to do, this already has bullet connectors installed on it. I'm going to install a bullet connector here, and then we'll start taking apart this headlight so that I can get to the stock pigtail so we can adapt it for this switch. Okay, so here's the pigtail for the headlight. This is just the socket that comes out the back of it. This one was originally designed to have a high and a low beam, but the switch can only handle one or the other, so I tied them both together. So that way the whole headlight works. And then this is the ground side. Bullet connectors on this. That'll go to the back of that housing. Bulb goes in here. See if it works. Dang. Okay, so I had put this bike back together, had the headlight and everything working great, right? Still have that same electrical gremlin, and I was like, well, alright, I'm gonna tear this thing down and start going through the wiring harness. Well, here's the thing. I was thinking it was this voltage regulator, right?
Wrong.
If you look right here, right there, I don't know if you can see that. It might focus in, it might not. That head stud is burnt. Well, I had pulled the ignition switch off. Here's the ignition switch. Look at that, right there. That head stud has worn a hole through it and has rubbed through, looks like the brown wire. So I plugged everything back in and was testing this. So I've got my little tester hooked up in the main fuse block, and all I did was just flip the key and just touch that against that, and it popped. That's been my issue the whole time. I'm gonna try and take this down and just patch that, you know, fix it, because I don't have an ignition switch like this on hand. Normally they're just one single 4-pin. This looks like a 3-pin and a 2-pin. So this is a 3-position switch for off, and light on. So I'm gonna try and patch this. If it doesn't work, I'll have to order one. But at least we found the problem. That right there just goes to show you the smallest, dumbest things can whip your ass on these dirt bikes. Alright, so I've got the ignition switch patched, and I've got the wiring pulled up and away from this head stud. This is just the coil wire. I'm going to do something with it here in a second. But I've got it all pulled up away from the head stud. I got everything wired. Everything's clipped back in on this side. So the true test now is whether or not it worked. I've got a new fuse. This isn't a tester fuse. I'm going to flip this switch and see if that fuse pops. Looks good to me. Looks like it works. Let's try this. Nice. Alrighty. Sweet. Alright, so as you can see, the EGL is running exactly like it's supposed to. The new headlight works really well. I like the way it's set up, not only because I don't have to go through the switch anymore to activate the headlight. I've got the switch on the handlebar, but also I don't have to worry about the main wiring harness if the bulb takes a crap. So it's a win-win for me. I would love to be able to take this thing out and review it, do a full ride, review, top speed and all that. However, right now I don't have anywhere to ride. I have rode it, and this thing is a blast to ride, but I didn't have my camera. So, yeah, a little disclaimer here. The issues that I've had are not EGL's fault. It's not the dirt bike's fault. It's just the way this bike was maintained beforehand. There had been some involved with this bike that I had to then undo and fix. I'm sure fresh out of the crate, these bikes are awesome. But there's a couple things you need to remember with this bike, with any Chinese bike. Make sure that your valve lash is set properly on any of these bikes fresh out of the crate. And I mean, that's not just the 250s, that's the pit bikes too. This particular bike, I set it to 0.004 in and out. That seemed to knock out a lot of the top end noise that I was having. So big thanks to the guys at the Chonda Riders, as well as the EGL Owners Group on Facebook. You should definitely check those out if you have one of these bikes or any Chonda. There's a lot of helpful people there to answer any question you could possibly have, and trust me, I had a lot of them. And if you haven't already, you can like and subscribe. Make sure you use the link in the description to check out Mini Bike Apparel and pick up your own t-shirt, hat, or hoodie, much like this one here. And until next time, y'all get up, get out there, and get after it.